What's up everybody? Welcome back to another Anthem video. Today we have two sections that we're going to be going over. One is going to be what they're calling the Day 1 patch, which is going to be coming out here in just a few hours, or depending on the exact time this video is uploaded, it may be implemented right now. I will leave a link to the full patch notes in the description below. Right now I'm just going to read off a couple of the really important ones, or the ones that stand out the most to me, so we can get a general idea of some of the quality of life things that we're getting and any other little extras that we might be able to look forward to. Diving right in, we have decreased loading times for older disk drives. This is going to be really important if you're suffering from really long load times, but you notice maybe your friends aren't. It may actually be due to your disk drive apparently. So we also have weapons and gear now have numbers present for modifiers. Now this isn't exactly perfectly clear, but I can assume that if an affix affects your gear, your gun is now actually going to display that change. So if you have 100% physical damage, if it affects your gun, then you'll actually see that on the gun itself. We also have many infinite loading screens have been fixed, multiple challenges not tracking properly, a number of issues that have been fixed where causing players to disconnect or crash. I personally have suffered, I want to say 5 to 7 different times where my game would just completely freeze. I could play 8 hours and it'd be fine. I could play 8 hours and it'd freeze several times. It just depended. So some of the smaller things that we also got, those were considered their high-level fixes. We have general fixes and improvements. Some of the things that we got here are really cool to me also. Scar snipers can no longer shoot through storm shields. Really good news for my storms out there. Some enemies have had their shield values decreased, which is going to be kind of nice. Those Scar hunters are nasty. Loot now properly drops for players who are downed. This is great. If you kill something and you were down, I've noticed it personally, you guys probably have too, nothing drops out of it. That's fixed. After being disconnected, rejoining your expedition will actually place you back into the squad if you were already in one. That's a nice little quality of life improvement. They've increased the damage of the electric status effect, really good for anybody running Ranger, trying to melee anything. And this one's going to be interesting. Status effects can more reliably be applied to Titans. I can't wait to actually trigger a combo off of a Titan reliably. Fixed the loading animations on marksman rifles. Small, but good. So we also have ice damage bonuses are now correctly applied on ice gear. Players can no longer salvage equipped items. I haven't run into this as a problem, but I could see how it would be pretty frustrating. Colossus shoulder gear will now share the appearance of the rest of the javelin as intended. This is really good for keeping that aesthetic you wanted to keep. And then we have a couple of buffs. Deadeye has increased spare ammo from 10 to 20. Cloudburst has increased damage from 16.3 to 21. Torrent has increased damage from 22.2 to 28.6. Ranger's Inferno Grenade, its base damage increased from 130 to 175. The Gyro Glaive for the Interceptor's base damage is increased from 20 to 50. And then the next three are for Storm. Living Flame base damage has gone up 10 from 50 to 60. Glacial Beam base damage has been decreased from 150 to 120. And then the Arc Burst secondary damage has been increased from 100 to 150. And the Ranger's Pulse Blast base damage has gone up from 125 to 300 and now deals extra damage versus shields. Previously it did extra damage to armored. The blast missile for the Ranger also properly scales up in damage as the item level increases. This is going to be pretty interesting, being Argo's mace is already really strong for the Ranger. I'm wondering if it's technically not as strong as it's meant to be, because right now it's really, really strong. The Colossus can activate its shield now more quickly after using an ability or firing a weapon. The Colossus can now also use its shield while reviving at the same time. I feel like this is one of the things we should have already had, but I'm really glad that it's added now. Incentivizes a Colossus to go out of his way to get you, knowing he has his shield to protect him while he's reviving you. The combo indicators above enemies' heads are now going to be correctly removed when they're detonated. That way you know that they're not currently primed. Combo damage now also penetrates resistances. We'll see how strong that'll be when we get to it. And then we have a bunch of UI changes, a bunch of UI fixes. The electric status effect now shows scale damage properly. We have the arrows on the top of the compass, like I mentioned in my previous video. The camera shake slider has been added to the settings. Just lots and lots of stuff. So now for section 2, we're going to dive into the next patch they're working on. We have something else that they talked about in the live stream. I'll leave a link down in the description to lead you to their Twitch channels where you can watch the whole VOD if you want to. I'll also leave a link to their YouTube where they usually post their VOD. Now these are things that are a few weeks out, but in my opinion these are super exciting. So the first thing we have is legendary missions. It's going to allow you to replay missions you've already done. Right now there's no option to do that. So if you wanted to redo the fight with Diggs, there's no way you can do that. They called it the crypt path. You can replay certain missions on a legendary version of it. What makes it legendary is going to be the types of enemies that you encountered during the mission and how many of them. One of the first ones they're going to do was meant to be easy because it was part of the beginning of the game. So you really only had, a couple of Scar Scrappers, maybe a scout. Doing it on legendary, you're going to run into enforcers, you're going to run into the hunters, and these are going to be either elites or they could be legendary. It's going to be hard. It's meant as an end game way for you to replay the mission. They didn't discuss what the gear or drops you can get from these legendary missions are. I guess they're going to be looking at that more towards the future. Again, this is included in the patch that's coming up in a few weeks, not the one that we're going to get on the 21st. And then we have the biggest thing that they tease for the next patch. Stronghold vanity chests. So the way that they're going to do it is you log into the game, you have a daily challenge. You complete that daily challenge and you get a key. At the end of a stronghold, there's going to be 4 chests. You can open one chest because you have one key. If you group up with people who all have 4 keys, since there are 4 chests, everybody can open up one chest. Everybody gets loot from each chest opened. So if you go in with a key, nobody else has one, and you open a chest, everybody without a key gets that loot. But if all 4 players have a key, you get loot from your buddies, and your buddies get loot from you. They said that there's around 100 different items ranging from vinyls, different animations for your victory pose, your landing pose, and straight up emotes. They said that there's going to be no duplicates. So after you get all of them, that's it. So I don't know how the longevity of this is going to work, whether they're going to slowly add things to keep that pool growing. I'm really afraid that once I have everything, then that end game activity is going to be pointless for me. I worry about it, but this is also a very welcome addition to the game, in my opinion. So those were the 2 things that they talked about on stream that we're going to be getting in the next patch that they're already currently working on. And then there's a couple of things that they teased about or mentioned that they're looking at for future. So we have set bonuses. Mark Dara said that they are looking at the idea of adding set bonuses. Imagine if you had Argo's mace, and then you had something like Argo's shield, and it was a component for your ranger, and using them in tandem either increased the damage of your mace while in turn giving you shield or armor back. We could see a lot of really crazy builds. In my opinion, if they're going to do something like set bonuses, I really hope they introduce a Grandmaster 4, 5, and 6. One of the other things that they're looking at for the future is a stat page. I know a lot of people have asked for this, and a lot of people are looking forward to it, myself included. I would kill to have a page of stats that I can just look at and know exactly what this build is for. We already have 5 build slots, and we can rename them, but if I can't look at the stat page of a build, it almost feels useless. They're also looking at ways to help you communicate with your squad if you choose not to use voice. Like, they're talking about text chat. They're talking about a ping system like Apex Legends has, both of which I think would be really good. I'm still not 100% sure why they're straying away from the idea of a text chat in a PC game. That's a little confusing to me. Maybe they want to try to avoid toxicity, but if you get on the mic, you can still be just as toxic. So, I don't know. I hope for text chat, I'll accept a ping system like Apex. And the last thing that they mentioned that they were looking at doing further on in the future was cross-play. So we could actually see PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4 all playing Anthem together. I think this would be amazing. Games have already done it before. They said that there's nothing technically stopping them in the build of Anthem on the technical and server side, but they have to get everybody else on board. So if Xbox says they don't want to participate, then that's kind of the end of that. But that's gonna wrap up this video, guys. As usual, I will leave all of the links that you require down in the description box below, along with my own social media links. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I do stream a variety of games, right now being mainly Anthem, if you couldn't tell. But I hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you for watching. Remember to take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next one.